The wrench slipped once, just once, and the laughter started like a fuse sparking to life. Maybe let a real mechanic take over. Someone smirked. She didn't look up, didn't blink, just wiped the sweat from her brow and leaned back under the axle, her gloved hand steady, her silence louder than any comeback. Oil streaked her jawline like war paint. Around her, 6 uniformed men in tan shirts and desert camo leaned casually against a truck, watching like it was a comedy show. One chuckled. Another folded his arms, whispering something that made the others burst out again. They didn't know who she was, but they were about to. Her name was Sergeant Ava Ridley, and 12 years of service were etched into every line on her face, every scar hidden beneath that tank top and those calloused hands. She didn't wear her story like a badge, she wore it like armor. And in that moment, as the base's morning sun filtered through the hangar bay, hot and sharp and unforgiving, she bore their ridicule like she'd borne worse. Because she had. Afghanistan, 2011. She'd pulled her squad leader out of a flipped MRAP with a shattered femur, carrying him 3 kilometers under fire. The heat back then had smelled like gunpowder, sweat, and engine grease. The way it smelled now. She remembered how his blood had soaked through her vest. He didn't make it. But his dog tags still hung inside her locker, clinking quietly against the metal each morning before she stepped onto base. Ava had once been the only woman in a forward recon unit. She didn't talk much, but when she did, men listened. And when she didn't, they learned the hard way. But that was over a decade ago. Now, back stateside, she'd asked for reassignment to motor pool. Volunteered. Not because she lacked the skill to lead, but because she needed something no promotion could give her. Peace. But peace, it seemed, was something these boys weren't ready to give. She tightened the bolt. One of the soldiers scoffed. "You know," he muttered, just loud enough, "if she can't fix it, we'll be late for the commander's inspection." Someone snorted. "Let her try. She's gotta learn someday." None of them stepped forward. None offered to help. They just watched, arms crossed, boots kicked up, smirks painted across sunburnt faces. Complicit silence. That kind of silence is heavier than bullets. But Ava moved like the noise wasn't there. Like the mocking didn't touch her. That's the thing about quiet professionals. They've already been through louder hells. She reached into her back pocket, pulled out a small socket wrench, and began recalibrating the fuel injection module. One of the guys leaned closer, whispering to his buddy. She doesn't even know what she's looking at. Then footsteps. Not fast, not loud, but commanding. All heads turned. A man in full camouflage approached down the center of the hangar. Tall, broad-shouldered, ribbons on his chest. The sunlight caught the silver eagle pinned to his collar. Colonel James Harlan, the base commander. His boots echoed against the concrete floor as he walked between the 2 parked trucks, not stopping, not speaking, just moving. And then he did something no one expected. He stopped in front of Ava. Sergeant Ridley. Her head turned just slightly, her hand still on the bolt. "Sir." The boys straightened. One of them instinctively saluted. Harlan didn't glance at them. "I heard the 5-ton in Bay 2 stalled. That true?" "Yes, sir." "You fixing it?" "I am, sir." His jaw tightened, then relaxed. "I told my driver not to touch it. Knew you'd have it handled." A pause. "Let me know when she's ready." And then he turned and walked away. Silence dropped like a hammer. The boys didn't laugh now. Their smirks had vanished, replaced by something else. Confusion. Embarrassment. A few glanced at each other, unsure if they should apologize or just vanish. Ava stood slowly. Her gloves creaked with oil and friction. She wiped them against her pants, not to clean them, but to feel something solid, earthly, real. And without a word, she walked past them. Back in 2015, Ava had served under Colonel Harlan in Kandahar. She'd saved his convoy when insurgents ambushed their route. 4 trucks disabled, no backup, radios jammed. She climbed onto the roof of the lead vehicle and coordinated defense until air support arrived. She lost 3 that day. She didn't talk about it. Harlan never forgot it. She didn't want recognition. She wanted respect. And now, in that hangar, she had it. Not because she asked for it, but because the truth has a way of cutting through silence eventually. One of the younger soldiers stepped forward, clearing his throat. "Sergeant, I didn't realize." She didn't let him finish. "You don't have to realize," she said softly. "You just have to pay attention." That line would echo across base for days. You don't have to realize. You just have to pay attention. Later that afternoon, Bay 2's truck roared to life. The same 6 soldiers stood nearby, no longer leaning, just watching. And when Ava stepped out from the cab, grease on her arm and sweat on her brow, no one laughed. They nodded. Not out of pity. Out of understanding. 2 weeks later, a framed photo was mounted in the motor pool office. A candid shot Ava mid-repair, backlit by sun, eyes focused, wrench in hand. Below it, quiet hands fix loud failures. Respect isn't about rank. It's not about shouting louder or taking up more space. It's about history. And the silence of those who've lived through it. Some heroes never speak their pain. They just show up, wrench in hand, and rebuild what others take for granted. Quiet hands fix loud failures. You don't have to realize. You just have to pay attention. If you've ever known someone like Ava, drop a comment. Let us know where you're watching from. And if you believe in silent strength, hit subscribe for more stories that honor those who carry the weight without asking for applause.